Hello everyone and welcome to the Unreal Engine 4 tutorial series on how to make a campfire. So this tutorial is more focused on the things which you can do with your inventory items. So as you can see, this is my inventory. If you have followed my inventory tutorials, you might find this inventory which is by default empty. And this ring, consider this ring as a campfire. So in order to fire this campfire, I need to have one wood, right? So even if I don't have any wood in my inventory and if I hit E, you see it is printing not enough wood. It means, yeah, I don't have enough wood to just light up this campfire, but if I have one wood, it will simply light up. So as you can see, it is lighting up. Okay, and if I print another one and then if I hit E, nothing is happening because we have already activated that, so we don't have to activate it again. Okay, let's do this for second time. For this time I have two woods, as you can see, two, and I only require one wood. So if I hit E, one is removed from my inventory. So this is a campfire video, but this is more focused on the props which relies on your inventory system. So how do you gonna make that? Alright, so let me just simply make a new folder and I'm gonna call it a camp, and inside here I will simply made a new blueprint class of a camp, right? And open that up, which is my empty blueprint class. Alright, so for camp I need a something called this ring, so I have imported a FBX 3D model. So I will simply add a static mesh in here, static mesh, yeah, and I'm gonna call it a camp, and for the camp I need a ring, which is this ring. As you can see, it compiles, save, minimize that, and let's put it something in here. So this is my second one, this ring, which is not as good as this one because it is big. So let's scale it. Oops. So let me just scale it of how much? 10 is too big. 5. All right, compile and let me okay, 5 is correct, but the location is not good because it is centered. So I will simply turn on a little bit. Alright, which is perfect. So as you can see, this is my new camp. Now I need to interact. So if you remembered, we have made an interact interface which is in the items. Okay, so in the items we have a interact interface, inspect interface, this one, and in here we have an interact function which is read only. So let's just do a recap. So in the third person blueprints we were doing where it was the start trace, yes, so we were doing a start trace on every tick. So on everything we are doing the start trace, and in the start trace we are just tracing the items, and if the item has the interact interface then we will simply interact it. So if you don't know, you can make this function or you can get overlap items, that's all up to you. So this is how you can interact. So for this time let's do with the E, or let's say interact. So in the interact button, yep, you can see we are calling a interact message function which is same as the interact interface, this one, the message function. So we're gonna simply call out in here. So for that, this actor should be implement an interface called interact interface. So go in the class settings and add that interact interface called inspect interface, yeah, this one, and hit compile. So when you compile, right click and add an event called interact. Yeah, this one. So I'm doing this all coding assuming that you have followed my inventory tutorial, so you know that where this come from and how do you gonna do interact. So first you have to simply implement, then you have to click on this compile, otherwise you won't show. All right, so we have a player character. Let's just promote it in case we need this player character. I'm gonna call it a player reference. Okay, now what we need a items required. So this is our item required to activate. So for that the item should be a master object class reference, and this should be an map. So whatever the items I require and how many integer of it, how much. So let's say I require a one wood of type, and I require two, let's say two wood. So what we're gonna do, first we're gonna check, so get this item required and get the keys of it. Keys are simply this one, the key, this is a key and this is a value. So key value pair, you cannot add the wood second time. So if I add this and if I say a wood, I cannot add, it says yeah I cannot add a duplicate key. I will simply delete it because I only need one wood, but if you have more than one items to require, you can add it. Alright, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna check. So for each loop with a break, and for this item what we're gonna check, if these items are in our inventory or not. So for that what we need the values, and I simply need a get a copy, not a reference. So I will simply get a copy, right, because I don't want to modify it in here. Alright, so this will simply give us that integer, this one. So for this wood, this two would be given in here, this output. Alright, and now what I need to do, I need to check if this guy is in my inventory or not. So for that, get that inventory component, attach this guy to here. Now from this inventory component, if you remembered, we have made an inventory search, right? So this will search through our inventory, and which item I want to search, this item, the array item, and how much amount, this one. So let's quickly do a recap. Let me just add a reroute note in here. Alright, okay, so this is my inventory search function, which is simply search for the item I need, and if it has the item, then it says yeah, it will simply return a true, yeah we have this item of this amount in our inventory, otherwise simply return a false. So as you can see, this is my inventory search function. Okay, if you don't know how to make that, let me just show you. Alright, so this has two inputs, first is item to search and how much amount to search, and this is just a money type of item. So if you have a money type of item, then you don't have to search for inventory, you have to search for your player pouch. But consider that yeah our items are in the inventory. So if it's true, then first I will simply set this item found local variable, as you can see, items found to 0. Then from my inventory array, I am simply checking for each loop with a break. I am simply getting that array element and I will simply break down that slot structure, and I'm checking if my item class is equal to the item search with this one. This is a parameter way of input parameter, this one, item to search. If it's true, then I want to check how much amount of item that slot holds. So this is my quantity, we'll go to here with a plus, item found. So this local boolean, this one, which we have set it to 0, which will add a plus. So first is gonna 0 and 0 plus the quantity, and this will be updated to a item found. Then I'm gonna check if I have found enough items or not. So yeah, I want to set this amount to search, which is same input parameter of the function. If it's greater than or equal to 0, then I will set, yeah, I have found enough items. And if I don't find, then I will simply set that, yeah, I don't find, and then simply I will break, right? Okay. Now what? On the completed, I will simply return that items found. The item found is by default false, as you can see. So this is our inventory search function, and this is for simply searching for one item. And in here in the camp, we are simply just calling out for every item, as you can see. So this will search, and this will give us a boolean. So let's promote it to variable, and I'm call it has enough items. It compiles, save, and let's check it, hit branch. So if any of the time this conditions returns a false, then yeah, we don't have enough items. Then I simply want to break it. So from the false branch, false one, attach it to break, and let me just double click to add a reroute node. All right. So yeah. So if it's true, then we will continue this loop. If it false, then we will break this loop. And in the completed branch, hit a branch. So now we have this boolean. Now set this boolean to by default true. So it will say, yeah, by default it true. And when we loop this, if any of this is false, then it will set to false. So let's add it. So if it's true, then let's print out, yeah, have items. And if it false, let's print don't have items, do not have items. Hit compile, save. All right. So let's just check it out. Wait, do we? Yes, let's just check it out. So we required 2 woods, right, for this guy. So if I hit E, do not have enough items, because we require 2 woods. So 1 and 2. So now I have 2 woods, and if I hit E, it says, yeah, I have items. So if I add more than 2, it still says, yeah, I have items, because it's just checking for the 2. Alright, and now what? I need to set that campfire turning on. So in this, I will simply add a particle system of fire effect. Right, for the fire effect, let me just add that fire, this one, which is too big. Let me just scale it to 0.1. Okay, I'm happy with this. Alright, but this is by default turning on, but I don't want this guy to turn on. So by default this activation should be false. So as you can see in the active, auto active should be false, and this should be active only if I have enough items. So if I have, then I will simply grab this, and I will simply activate, yes, this will activate to true. So let's check it out. I don't have enough items, oops, but I have enough items, 1 and 2. Then this will set to have enough items, and as you can see, but the problem is I'm not removing this. So as you can see, every time I hit E, it says have enough items, so I have to remove it. So before activating, let's remove the items. So let's make a function called remove items, hit compile, and let's call out before even activating this. So in here, right, and in the remove item I want to remove these items. So I won't gonna copy, I will simply copy it from my crafting UI slot, but don't worry, I will show you what are we doing. Okay, in the remove items, yes, this one. I will simply copy this code. I don't need that money part. Okay, hit copy, and in this one I will simply paste. Alright, the required item should be not this one, items required. It will go in here, it in here. Okay, I will simply promote it to a local variable because I don't want this to share with any others. Alright, and I don't even require this money one, so I will simply set it here. Alright, don't worry, I will simply setting up, but I will show what are we doing. Okay, I will delete it, and from my player reference I will get inventory component and attach it this one to here. Hit Q. Alright, do we need anyone? Yes, items to remove, I will simply promote it to a local one. Alright, so we have done this. Let me just show you what I did in here, because otherwise. Okay, so we have the map of the items we require, right? So first we are getting the keys from it, and then we are doing a for loop, and the items we want to require, which is the key array of every single element, we are simply promote it to a local variable. So this would be first for loop, this would be a wood. Then we are getting the values from it, so how many values we want to remove, and we are getting simply values from this index, right? And then we are promoting this one to also a variable, local variable called amount to remove. So we have two local variables, removing item class and amount to remove. Then we are doing a nested loop, a for loop inside a for loop, but this one with a break. So we are getting this structure, and first things first, what we are doing, we are getting this structure and simply getting the items by breaking this structure. In the class, if it's equal to our removing items, because we know that yeah, we have that item in our inventory. So if it's true, then I want to simply check if my slot, if my array element quantity, I have simply right click and split it out, this one. So if you grab this, and if you get for each loop with a break, you will find something in here. I have simply right click and split it out. So as you can see, I have this one as well as this quantity. Alright, so if my array element quantity is, and let's minus is, and if this guy is less than 0, less than or equal to 0, then what I need to do, I need to get the amounts to remove minus of this one, the array element quantity, and then I will do a absolute, so it will always return an absolute value. Whether if it's negative, then it will simply convert it to a positive, and we will set it to here, the amounts to remove, because yeah, our amounts to remove is greater than our items to quantity, so the slot will be a 0. So this is an empty slot, and if it's false, if it's not greater than or equal to 0, then we will set this array element to this index. This index is a for loop index, this one, and the items quantity is this one, the -1, right? And the item structure is simply this structure, item. So this is not look so good, but I've tried my best to let you guys what is the best. Yeah, so now if I hit play, as you can see, if I don't have enough items, yeah, if I had 2 items, as you can see 2 items, so it is setting to 0, and we have removed 2 items. But the problem is, even if I have 2 more items and this guy is already turned on, then if I hit E, then it is also removing item, but I don't want to remove it if this is also activated. So I'll create a new boolean called activated, and this boolean should be type of a single variable, not a map, and boolean yes of activated. So I will simply set that activated to true after setting the activated, and in here yeah, before promoting to variable, if the activated hit not boolean, not this one, not boolean, yep, and hit branch. So if it's not is equal to true, so if it false, if it's not activated, then this should be inverted, so this should be a true. So if it's true, then and then I want to follow the branch, otherwise let's print out that already fire, already burning. Hit compile, save, close, and let's check it out. Okay, 1 2 and yes, so it is have enough items and it is burned. So now even if I have enough items and if I hit E, it says already burning, so I don't have to burn it again. So yeah, we are not removing that items this time. So this is how you can do a prop which is rely on your inventory system. So this is all for it now. So thank you so much guys for watching, and bye bye.